So let's place some eye pads. Today I'm going to be working with our Lost Artistry Lash Memory Foam eye pads. And I love these because they are crazy sticky and super flexible. So I'm going to get Anna to open up her eyes, and on one eye I'm going to apply the eye pads with the eyes open, and on the other I'm going to do an example of applying the eye pads with the eyes closed. So firstly, it is pretty bright in here, so I've moved the lights away from Anna, but normally when I'm applying eye pads, I will turn off my lights or turn my setting down to setting number 1 on my Lost Artistry LED light. So look up at me, Anna. Another thing is, if you can't really see what you're doing, if you can't see every single lash, have your client put their chin back. That gives you a much better visual of what you're doing. So I'm gonna take one finger on the top, one finger on the bottom, and I'm gonna come in on a really super strong angle so I'm perpendicular with that lash line. Now, it's easy to want to go right in the middle of the pad, but if you come in and place the pad right in the middle, what's gonna end up happening is that this part of the pad is gonna sit up on the nose and it's gonna pop up and you're gonna miss those inner corner lashes. So for Anna's eye shape, and everyone's eye shape is completely different, you definitely wanna line up with the eye shape. But for her, I'm gonna come in on a very harsh angle, like I've already said, and then line up so just the corner of the pad sits with the corner of her eye. So before I let go, I'm letting go of the skin underneath her eye so that I'm not bouncing the pad up. And then I'm gonna take that finger and I'm gonna push down the tip of the pad, the top part of the pad. And I'm gonna use my fingers to make sure that the top of the pad, the part that sits closest to the lash line, stays put. And then I will remove my fingers from the bottom. Close your eyes. And once I have it placed, I can take that outer corner, if it's uncomfortable, and move it down a little bit. So our memory foam pads are by far our stickiest pad option, great for beginners if you're not wanting to move the pad while you work. They can also be used for layering techniques as well. We have videos on that. If you want a video, just comment below. We'll happily send you one. And then you can always check by moving the lid like so. And you want to make sure that the pad doesn't sit over the lash line, but instead just along that lash line. Now, our memory foam pads are quite a bit thicker than our standard eye pads, which are right here. So we have a black standard eye pad, which is really good for really blonde natural lashes. And then we have a white standard gel pad, and that is great for darker lashes, but it's much thinner. So if, let's say, we have a deep set eye, our thicker eye pad may not be the best option. But the cool thing about the thicker one is for most eye shapes, it's not a problem. Deep set eyes are a little bit harder. You might need a thinner pad, even if it's just for that inner corner. But this pad is not going to move nearly as much if you're a newer artist than our standard pads. It is thicker and it is stickier. And another nice thing about the ultra thick memory foam pad is that it offers more protection. So if you are nervous about placing the tip of your tweezers on that pad, then you definitely offer more protection to the under eye skin if you're using a thicker pad versus a thinner pad. Another added bonus for using this eye pad is, so because it's so sticky and because it is more firm, just given the thickness of it, then when you push in with your tweezer on the pad, and we're not supposed to actually use pressure on the pad, but we do rest our tweezer tips on that pad. But because the pad is thicker and more sturdy, when we gently rest our tweezer tips on the eye pad, we don't accidentally pop the pads up and accidentally move the eye pad or place our extension improperly just because the inside of that pad is kind of pushing up on the lashes. Okay, now let's go to the other eye, and I'm going to show you how to place that one with the eye closed. I like to move my client's head so that I can really clearly see the section that I'm working on. So when I'm placing the eye pads on the right side, I move the head to the left just a little bit. And my hands are sanitary. I have washed and sanitized before starting. That's really important. So now I'm gonna pull the lid apart And I might need to use the corner of my pad to just move some lashes out of the way before I actually go in and place. And then when I'm placing the pads with the eyes closed, I'm gonna start on the outer corner, line up my pad, again, coming in on a pretty extreme angle. I'm never trying to place it as if it's already laying down. I'm instead laying the inside of the pad first, this side here, and then laying it down. So I'm gonna line it up. This is my favorite way to place eye pads, with the eye closed. And then let go. Now I want to check to make sure that it's not sitting over that lash line, which it is not. And it's covering the inner corner lashes, but not extremely. I may move my pads during the service to cover just that area, or you can take a tiny piece of micro pore tape and just put it over that area. And if you are moving your pads during the service, just make sure that you use your fan before you move the pads, before you open the eye, just to make sure that the glue has in fact cured before you open the eye, because glue fumes are attracted to moisture, and the eyes of course have lots of moisture, so we don't want to irritate the eyes with the glue fumes.